Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, here we go. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Without Bird again today. He is out with the COVID. He is pumping some of the vitamins, though, that you need. He's got the B, the D, the zinc. That's all cranking. I'm going out to get even more. I realize I don't really have any zinc going on right now. I do the B, the D already. Everything else, I do vitamin C additional every single morning. So I'm doing those and have been through the whole pandemic.
They said get that lysine, so now we're getting that lysine.
Yeah, going to go get that. So doing everything that we can. I'm going to go get tested today. MD now, they do the PCR, right? The more reliable, they do the schnoz and all that. So.
Yes, they tickle your brain.
Yeah, but, at least that one's, I guess, from what I hear, the more reliable. So just trying to, like everybody else, follow the information, make the right choices. So that's pretty much where we are.
But you feel good. I feel good. Denny's feels good.
Right.
I think we all skirted by this and got lucky.
Yeah, you hope so. But, how much longer is it going to be around and how bad is it? And so, it definitely, gives you pause and you're just kind of curious where everything is going. And we're all still trying to figure it out. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to go through. So we appreciate all the feedback that we're getting about your own little COVID journey, because maybe you hear something that helps you make a better decision for how you want to do it. Oh, okay, I kind of like that. Or, oh, it's interesting to get that perspective. We want to be kind of that safe space for conversation, because there's not a lot of safe spaces for conversation. I think that's been one of the big problems here is, unfortunately, COVID got too politicized and people were afraid to talk about it. And, because everybody starts yelling at you. But look, people just want to do what's right for their health.
People started yelling at us when we were just talking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't talk about it. Shut up. Like, well, Jay Bird has COVID,
right,
y'all. So for us to just sit in here and then not talk about it.
No, it's stupid.
I went to brunch and shared a bowl of caviar with my girlfriend. And the next day, she tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
So, it's all around us. We're living it. If you want to pretend like it's not around us, I don't know. Maybe it's not around you, but it's certainly around me.
Yeah. So when we got one of our crew down with it, and they're getting kicked in the nards with it, we're going to talk about it, because the numbers, they are high. A lot of people are having to deal with it. So we'll do what we can to try to help you guys through it and try to be a place where you can talk about it and ask questions. And look, we are not medical doctors. We get that.
No.
And we're not trying to be or claim to be. We're just having a discussion on what other people are doing. We can't vouch for any of the stuff that we hear. This is just what people are sending us, and we're relaying it on to you. So take it with that. It may not be worth anything at all, and it may be wrong information. I don't know. I'm not able to vouch for all this stuff, because I can't understand half the stuff I'm seeing and reading anyway. I really can't.
Well, it's not what we do. We're not medical scientists. We're not doctors. We're trying to learn as we go. But I'm going to take the advice of people that are medical scientists and that are doctors, and I'm just going to do whatever they say and hope for the best.
I want to stay healthy and safe. I want to make sure that whatever I do doesn't contribute to anybody else getting sick. And honestly, selfishly, I want to go out and do shit. Like, I love living my life. It's freaking football season, y'all. And
I want to apologize to Fall Out Boy, because they literally fell out after they came to Florida.
They did. So
Florida's COVID, it will get you.
Yeah, I want to get this stuff knocked down. I don't want to jeopardize football season. It's going.
They were all vaccinated, too. Fall Out Boy,
were they really?
Weezer, all of them. They said they're all vaccinated. They've all been in a bubble. They don't know how the band got COVID, but it did.
Did they say about how they're, because that's what I think a lot of people want to know. Okay, so if you're vaccinated and you have it, how bad do you feel? What is it? What's your experience?
They did not say.
Yeah, see, that's just it. These are the kind of questions that I immediately have. I'm like, well, I want to know. Like, qualify it to me.
Jason has it bad, but he wasn't vaccinated. His neighbor has it bad, and he also wasn't vaccinated. I'm hearing that some people that get it and they're not having as bad of a time with it is because they're vaccinated. Now, that's not everybody, but
Sure.
it lessens the symptoms, and then it lessens the severity and the probability of you having to be hospitalized.
Yes, and that's what you want. So if you can just eat, it's one thing to say, oh, I got it, but you're like, I don't feel that bad. That's okay. That's at least an improvement. So, and, a lot of people, I fell in that, mold where I had the antibodies, and a lot of people don't want to talk about that, so that's why we'll talk about that. And, what I had heard on TV was somebody had said, hey, even if you have the antibodies, just even like one round of the vaccine does a lot to kick up your antibodies even more. So, hey, if you can add to your protection and your shielding, maybe you might want to consider that if you think that's right for you. But, Virginia and I were having a conversation that, I don't like or trust a lot of the big pharma crap.
I know.
I've been that way, and it's unfortunate.
It's so money driven.
Yeah.
And we know that these people that run pharmaceutical companies are diabolical.
Yeah.
We know they're in it for the money. We know they don't care about Americans and keeping us healthy and safe. They only care about their bottom line. So it's really hard to trust them and know that, okay, they're the ones that are manufacturing the vaccine and manufacturing the medication for COVID. Yeah. It's a catch-22.
I've seen a lot of documentaries they've done on Big Pharma and how nasty they are. And they had the documentary featured like this one woman that took, I think, like 28 pills a day. And this pill was to alleviate the problems from this pill, from that pill.
Damn.
And they fixed her diet. She's able to get off all of her medications. And
it's diet.
Yeah.
It's exercise.
Right.
They want you to stay on medication. They don't want you to eat healthy and get healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's really my own personal strategy, because I don't believe in, I have always been suspicious of the big pharma stuff. Again, I'm not anti-vax. I just would rather let my immune system take over. And so, I had the antibodies, and that's where I've been so far on my own decisions. But I continue to read, and I'm not opposed to it. I'm looking at it, and, where we are right now, it's definitely something that I would like to see that FDA approval. That'd be nice. And some people can't figure out why they're not doing that yet. But, so I'm looking, listening, learning. So I'm getting a lot from your guys' emails. So I appreciate that.
I'm also curious, too, after Jaybird puts this chapter behind him and his neighbor, would they look back and say they wish they would have got the vaccine? Yeah,
it'd be interesting, and you're hearing from people like that. So that's why I like to hear these stories. And we're going to relay some of them, and you make your own decisions.
Yes.
But we want to at least be able to have a conversation where people aren't yelling at you, and you can just listen to what other people are saying. So thank you for the emails, because hopefully it'll help somebody out, and you can make the best decision for you, whatever that might be. Whatever you do, hey, if you feel like you're doing the right thing, then good for you. Dave had said, just want to share my experience with you. Getting sick after the second shot is not a given. After I got the second shot, Moderna at Walmart, I was expecting to get sick from everything that I'd heard. However, I was completely fine the next day after the second shot. I didn't even have a sore arm. So, that's good. And you never know. I don't know what the odds are that you do or you don't, but that was, for me personally, I don't have time in my life where I can afford to
take a day.
Yeah, I can't take a day, or I have to take a day.
Or take a Saturday.
Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, so right now I'm eyeballing maybe it'd be a Friday for me to get the shot. So at least, hey, if it doesn't react well, then at least I can chill and it doesn't damage the show. You're not going to be like going, gosh, what happened to Kevin today? This show's terrible. Can't even listen to it. Sunny, she had sent an email, and her COVID vaccine experience, first round of COVID, March 2020, early on, fever, body ache, shortness of breath, cough. Pretty much felt like death. It sucked so bad. My husband, who's a physician, wanted me to go to the hospital. I was too afraid, though. I wouldn't get proper treatment, afraid of a ventilator. My husband tested negative during my 2+ weeks of my first COVID ride. However, he later contracted COVID 7 months later. His journey was much different. Body ache, sinus pressure, and loss of smell and taste. Like the Queen's, hasn't returned. And that's why it's interesting. Different genders are having different results. Different ages are having different results.
Totally.
Yeah, and I think even different ethnicities are having different results.
I think it's probably your DNA.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So weird, right?
A year after my first round of COVID and my husband's COVID round, we both received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine April 2021. Vaccine aftermath was brutal for 2 days in which we both had fevers over 103 and were dead to the world. Ooh. We're both in our mid-30s, in shape, overall healthy individuals. We, of course, had BVE after our vaccines. However, nothing too crazy.
Big vagina energy.
Yeah, okay. Still wore masks in most settings, allowed more people into our bubble. Anywho, given I had the vaccine and the antibodies, I thought we both were safe. I thought wrong. I currently have COVID. Yeah. So, hey, you still might continue to give, but she's saying this time around, not too bad, however. I was still told to quarantine for 10 days. I just want to share my journey, and thank you for that. So, that's interesting that at least when she had the antibodies and the vaccine, she did get it again, but, not as bad. So.
And that's what you want. I mean, you want your symptoms to be mild.
Right.
You don't want to be on death's door like Jay Bird and his neighbor because it sucks, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's her own personal experience with it. So thank you for that. And Yami here, if you're going to be doing the testing stuff, it says, I was listening to yesterday's show and you were looking for the at-home test. I ordered one online at Walgreens and picked it up on the way home to have on hand. You just have to find a Walgreens near you that has it in stock, but it was ready at curb pickup instead of going around looking for them. Also, they were available for shipping, 3 to 5 day shipping. So that might be something that is rampant as it is right now, maybe having one in case you need it. Or you might have a friend.
Yeah,
I'd be like, hey, I could use it and you could hand it off to them.
I did have a couple of people from different CVS's or whatever reach out to us and say, hey, we've got the test. You just got to call around to all of the stores.
Okay.
Don't drive around to all of them. You'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Call around, see who's got it, and then go right there.
So, like I said, my selfish concern, and being completely honest, is that I want to go to football games, and I like living my life, and I like doing stuff, and so I get worried when I see this stuff, obviously for people's health, but also I'm like, damn it, man, I don't want to go back to that world. Last football season was freaking brutal. They shut it all down. So everybody's got their own little thing. I think that when we have real world that you love to do, probably going out, whatever it is, restaurants, concerts, movie theaters, whatever. And we got an email here on cruising, and that's another thing. I know for Suits, the pandemic did some damage to that. And Eric said, hey, I plan on going on Royal Caribbean cruise to Cancun next March. I just want some info on what to expect and what essentials I'll need to bring. This will be my very first cruise for my buddy's bachelor party. Any advice would be appreciated. So, I don't know where the status is. In fact, I saw the one that goes out of Port of Palm Beach. I think it was last Saturday. I think they're doing a little test run, and they kind of got that thing up and cranking.
You said cruise, and it was like a bat signal.
Bam! Here he is.
Here I am.
Suits, everybody.
So where are we right now? What is the latest you've heard? Is a cruise, are you going out? You haven't had vaccines to show proof? Are they thinking about shutting it back down again with the numbers that we've had this week?
It's very interesting, actually, because what I've seen recently is actually more plans to get back to normal and restart. In fact, Royal Caribbean just announced their entire fleet will be back by March of next year.
Wow.
In operation. But what I've noticed that the cruise lines are doing, Carnival just put back in a mask mandate regardless of your vaccine status on board the ships. They did that, I think, starting today.
Okay. All right.
So I'm seeing some more things get rolled back again. I don't know how severe it's going to get, but you're seeing a couple of people here and there test positive with the vaccine when they're testing people getting off the ship. It's not a lot of people. It's like 6 or 7 people each cruise.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what kind of changes they'll make. For now, it looks like you might have to wear the masks again on board.
Yeah, because I mean, it definitely seems to be the thing that, hey, the vaccine's not going to keep you from getting it.
No, it won't. It seems to limit the effects of it is really what it's been doing.
That's what the vaccine does.
Yeah, but there's still always a chance you can get it. So
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
the breakthrough cases are crazy.
Yeah,
in those numbers, but that's the reason why you do. Okay, so cruising is heading in the.
They all keep making more ships. They keep releasing dates saying that when these ships are coming out. Like I said, Royal Caribbean, they just released a whole plan to get all of their 24 or so ships back in service over the next 6 months. So
wow, okay,
they are planning on going full throttle, getting all these ships back into service. We'll see how it goes.
If you were going on a bachelor party cruise, are there any essentials that Eric should be bringing with him? I mean, can you bring? How do you bring on booze?
They
how does that
normally
work?
Allow you to bring a certain amount of booze, I think, when you check in. It depends on your cruise line.
Yeah, he had said in there. I think it's Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, so I've never actually brought my own booze to a ship. I've always just purchased it on board. I just never dealt with it. But I have read before.
It's easier sometimes to purchase the unlimited package, and if you drink like me, you will come out on top.
I did that the last couple of times, and it definitely was worth the money. So it's expensive, but when you break it down, if you drink enough, it's worth it. It's like the price of getting 10 drinks, I think, or however it works out per day. Maybe it's 5 drinks per day per person, I think is how it works out. So if you're going to drink more than 5 drinks, it's worth it. If not, you're going to blow your money.
And then when you look at that number, 5 drinks, look at it like a challenge. And each day you wake up and you meet that challenge.
I already spent the money.
Yeah,
I can't waste it now.
I don't waste money.
Yeah.
But you can check with the cruise line. You can bring certain things on board. I know they can be weird with buying bottles of alcohol because they'll hold the bottle. If you buy something in a port, they take it from you when you come back on board and give it to you when you disembark.
Gotcha.
There is certain allotments when you first board.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go, Eric. That's what you need to know about booze, I'm sure. Rest of it, go have fun, man. All right, Jessica, she had sent this in on our app. She said, I'm listening to the show from yesterday, the part where you all were talking about the woman who was walking. She was 8 months pregnant. This creepy dude in a white van is getting creepier than that. He approaches her, starts, creeping up to her and lurching.
Asking her where she lives.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
I haven't seen you walk around this neighborhood before.
You don't need to know where I live.
Where do you live?
Bitch, keep driving.
I like Jessica's thought, though. She said, I live in a safe neighborhood, but you never know who's creeping around the corner.
Yep.
And when I walk my dog, I never throw away her poo until I get home, just in case I have to use it as a weapon.
Poo is a weapon.
Yeah.
I
Weird,
like it.
Absolutely. Most men would probably never even think about defending themselves in their own neighborhood. I get it. But she's got a bag of crap that she's ready to bop you with.
Yeah, I mean, anytime a woman goes walking anywhere, it's always in the back of our minds or in the front of our minds, depending on how paranoid we are. But we're just at a distinct disadvantage when we're walking outside.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
I get it. Yeah. As a guy, it's just something I had never really thought of, but it makes complete sense. And people are freaking creepy.
Yeah.
I get it.
A guy in a white van pulling up, asking you where you live.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no justification for that. There's nothing that this dude can say that'll make me go, oh, okay, yeah, he's fine.
I've tried to be aware because I'm a dude, and I never really had that. Now I try to have a presence of mind of just saying, how is somebody receiving your communication? What do you look like to them?
Right.
Do you look like you could be menacing? Could you be causing problems? I don't want to be rude to people, but it's like, look, sometimes people just don't want engagement, and especially in this condition.
No.
I'm pulling up in a white van, and there's a clearly pregnant woman who's 8 months pregnant that's walking.
Just trying to exercise.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to talk to you, dude.
No, you're not making her day better. Just let it go. Let it go. Well, using poo as a weapon. Now that we're on the podcast, can play your son Rocco's experience he had. He learned what a shart was all about.
He did. He gambled and lost.
And it was just great listening to his very matter-of-fact explanation of what he said. And, of course, your 6-year-old, he uses what language he chooses. And that's why we'll play the uncensored version here on the After the Show podcast of Rocco telling you how he sharted.
Okay, so what happened?
So basically, I shit my pants.
What happened?
So basically, you were cleaning up in my room, and I was taking a look in your room. Then when I was turning on the light, like, oh crap, I got shit. Then at that very moment, when I was walking the hallway, and I got to my room, the shit bubble came right out of my ass. Then I ran straight to this room in the bathroom. Then I hopped in the tub, and there was shit all over my leg, and it went all over my foot, and it was horrible.
Horrible. What a terrible experience. What a terrible experience.
He told me all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I got to go get my phone. I got to record this. So then I got my phone, and then I'm like, okay, Can you tell me again what happened? I just want to.
It's just so matter of fact. It's just, this is what happened. I just shit my pants.
It's so funny to hear him describe things because it's like a little old man.
Yeah.
He gives you so many details.
It really is. It's hysterical. How he just gives you the whole play-by-play. Just like, it's just what happened,
He paints a picture.
Man. Yeah.
I can see it.
That's just what happened. Yeah, what do you know? I just shit my pants, Mom. Crazy. All down my leg. Insane. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, entertaining stuff. There is another story that people were sending us some information on that we talked about a little bit in the Whacked Out News today and got more information about it. It is about this 81-year-old guy in New Hampshire. And for 27 years, he's kind of like lived on this property. And he lives off the land. He like grows his own food and all that kind of stuff. And some people had texted in to give us a little bit more information that apparently I think what had happened was the person who owned the land died, and then maybe their kids took over. Oh. And then they had an issue with him being on the land. But this is what really is crazy because this guy in New Hampshire, in fact, there's another morning show that is there that, was kind of talking about it in that area in New Hampshire. And they're like, look, if you guys are talking about this guy, know that people love him here. Locals support this guy. They love him. They've known him for a while. They've even done some documentaries on him. So before I get fully into the story of this dude, he has a name, River Dave.
And he wasn't a squatter if the owner of the property was letting him live there for 27 years.
Right. It changed hands.
Don't call him a squatter.
Yeah, I think it just changed hands from the generations, and then they're all of a sudden, for whatever reason, being dicks about it.
Oh,
and
what
like, you're not
dicks?
living on our land.
I mean, the guy doesn't have many years left.
Yeah.
Really? You're going to make a big deal out of it? And it sounds like he built his own home.
Yeah, pretty much did it. Here's a little bit on River Dave. This is from 3 years ago. He's now 81. I think this is done when he was 78 years old, saying a little bit about who he's all about.
This is the man known as River Dave. David Earl Lidstone is 78 years old. He's been living along the Merrimack River for 24 years, mostly by himself. It started off as a place for him and his wife to escape the city, but eventually he started living here by himself. Inside his cabin, you'll find the basics. It's got a stove, microwave, working lights, even a VCR.
There isn't a nail in this house that I didn't drive myself.
Much of what you see here has been recycled or handmade by Dave. As much as he seems like a woodland creature, River Dave does many things we all do. He gets Social Security, has a mailbox and cell phone, and goes to the store occasionally. He even had satellite TV until the service cut out.
So I'm watching Hee-Haw.
At 78, River Dave has no plans to leave his wooded hideaway. He will continue to greet people on the river and live as a modern hermit for as long as he can.
So you don't get lonely?
I do not get lonely. I got chickens and a cat.
I got chickens and I mean, just how sweet is this guy,
He is
right?
adorable. Who would ever try to hurt this guy?
Yeah, and so he has to go to court to deal with this issue. The place where he has lived for 27 years now is being called into question. And here he is, River Dave. This was him in court talking to the judge.
It's lying, cheating, corrupt judges like you that are stepping on little people like me. But I'm gunning you, sir. You step on me, I'm going to bite your ankle.
I'm going to bite your ankle. So that's what River Dave said to the judge that was trying to, kick him off his land. And here's the insane thing that happened. While River Dave was in court saying that to the judge, somebody burnt his house down.
I bet it was the kids.
Probably, yeah. They burnt his whole cabin to the ground that he had built by hand.
Oh, my
Everything with he and his wife, built it by hand, burn it down. And like I said, this show that's right in that neighborhood, it's in Concord, New Hampshire. They're saying, just so you know, the locals here support this guy big time. People have offered to pay any fines, build him a new shack, pay any taxes he owes, everything. And they say, mark my words, if somebody would start a GoFundMe, he will make huge bank. So people love River Dave. And you can see why. Just a sweet old dude. He's got a long white beard. He's everything you would imagine that he would be. And it's like, why be an asshat? I mean, this is land that it's not like you could put a multi-million-dollar shopping mall on or something like that. It's just along the river. This guy's just peaceful. He's 81. If you're these young kids that took over this land, don't be an asshat. Let River Dave live out his days. He's 81.
Arson is illegal. It doesn't matter if you light something on fire on your own property or not. These kids should be held accountable for burning down this man's home and all of his belongings. That they should serve jail time for that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to come of it, but there was definitely a lot more layers to that story. Thank you for everybody that does send that into us. Yeah, I think we'll probably be talking more about River Dave.
Well, I hope there's a full arson investigation, and I hope it's figured out who set fire to all of River Dave's stuff, and then that person needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No, you can't. I mean, that's completely not cool,
The guy's 81.
Not cool. Freaking River Dave, man. Yeah, so we'll see what winds up happening with that. But I think there'll probably be more to the story. So that's a little bit more to it. Another comment. Somebody said, today I heard you talking about this from yesterday about a guy peeing in the streets on the ATS podcast. Yeah, it was a dude that I had seen. It was on Dixie. Just a little bit south of downtown. It's right outside of Grotto.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, well, my wife's like going, is that guy pissing? And I look over, and sure enough, he just whipped his dick out, and he was just, I'm like, yeah, he's pissing.
Okay.
And, I don't know. I mean, the guy, I don't know if he's down and out, homeless, what. I mean, he kind of had the
He
look
might
like
not be mentally all with it.
Yeah.
And understand.
I don't know, but I'm like, well, this is interesting because here comes a cop, and a cop just rode right by him. I'm like, and they didn't even stop or look or
If I was a cop, I would do the same thing.
Well, and then what I was saying yesterday, I'm like going, so, okay, what if I just whip my dick out and start pissing on the street and a cop drove by? Are they going to stop and do something? Or they'd be like, is this just something where it's like, no big deal?
Kevin from the KVJ show?
Yeah, would they treat me differently? And in a sense, am I discriminated against because I don't look like I'm homeless? But what if I had a day? Because some days I do. If I had that day, would I be allowed to just pee on the street? Nobody would say anything to me.
If you have a semi-famous dick, they might say something.
I'm just wondering how this all works.
They don't want to mess with the paperwork of...
Well, this is what the comment is. They said, yeah, one day I was at the intersection of Blue Heron Boulevard and US 1, and I saw a guy clearly peeing right along the sidewalk. There were two police officers in a car, and I got their attention and pointed to the guy peeing, and one cop responded by saying, not my jurisdiction. I was floored that he would say this, but I think that's kind of the way it goes. They're like, look, yeah, I get it, but, rain will wash it away, and...
And really, at the end of the day, the stress of dealing with that situation,
right.
You don't know if this individual is chemically unbalanced.
Sure.
You don't know if you're going to go over there and talk to him and he's going to start pissing on you.
The homeless situation that every city's dealing with, it is such an intricate, complex issue because you don't want to be inhumane. You want to be understanding. But I think some people are like at the same time, they don't, at certain places and times, they don't want their city overrun. They don't want some of these things going on. And so it is a really tough, it's a tough thing to balance.
I'm going to have compassion for the guy who's probably homeless and mentally challenged.
Right.
And I'm also going to have compassion for the cop who doesn't want to get involved in that situation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say both of them, just be you. I'm not going to say shit to either one of you.
It's a tough tap dance, and when you have the discussion, you're like, okay, where do we draw the line on what we allow homeless to do, and how do we help them, and what do we create? That's why I think every city should make it a top priority, raising funds, having places, getting counselors out there that can deal with that.
Mental illness help.
Right. Help these people along and say, what can we do to help you? How can we maybe get you some real legitimate help? How can we get you back on your feet so you can be the best version of yourself? What would that mean? A lot of issues with drugs and things like that. How do we get you healthy? And I think that more cities really need to start prioritizing that and putting money into it, so that you can handle it the right way. And then you clean up your cities, and your people in your city are better, and your city's cleaner, and, because there are a lot of homeless people that wherever they get the urge, they just let it happen. And it's not always pee, Virginia.
Thank
So,
you.
Yes.
Thank you for breaking down and mansplaining excrement.
I am. I'm letting you know because, yeah, my wife and I are dinner conversation where all the times we've seen homeless people take big shits wherever. I'm like this is our dinner conversation.
It's a good diet. I mean, as soon as you're out at dinner and you see a homeless guy taking a shit, you don't want to eat anymore.
I think we all have. Have you seen somebody taking a shit on the street?
I have.
I have probably 4 times.
I saw a lady.
I did too.
I use the word lady loosely.
Yeah, first time was New York City, just right in the middle of the street.
Okay.
It was in the middle of a very busy, and that's where I was like, gosh, I'm not in southeastern Ohio anymore.
Where the fuck am I?
Oh, it was, let me tell you, man, that was.
What the hell?
It was quite, yeah, for a small town country boy, that was definitely quite an eye opener. So some interesting stuff there. All right. Well, yeah, we're getting more and more correspondence, people using the app. Thank you guys for checking that out. It's really cool for you to be able to leave emails, text messages, voice messages. I love being able to play those. So if you got anything to use the mic drop feature and we can play your audio.
Do this. When you're out drinking, leave us a mic drop then. Especially if you and your friends have some lippy stuff to say. I love the intoxicated mic drops that we're getting right now on the app.
Yeah, people are using it for little kid, drunk adult. We've got people doing it for Am I the Jerk? Anything. Instead of sending an email, maybe if you want to just voice it, just try to keep it somewhat brief so poor Denny's doesn't have to edit his ass off. That's the only thing is try to kind of think it out ahead of time. And
think about Denny's.
Yeah. Think about Denny's having to edit. If you go, well, then I kind of no, wait, what did I do? Okay. Yeah, work through all that kind of stuff and kind of get it nice, clear, and concise and then drop it on us.
Get to the meat.
That's it. So download it for free in any app store. All right, you guys, enjoy your Thursday back here to kick off the weekend on the Friday KVJ show tomorrow. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.